climate that's normal in that area. And they telling you they in the valley. If you want the valley and you can control the water. See, what we don't remember, this is how you know you don't remember history. They used to have pipelines that ran water from different, before they started building the dams, they had what they call aqueducts.
Go ahead.
Which funneled the water into the valley areas that was in the desert terrain. The desert is the only place where it'll burn you up in the day and freeze you to death at night.
Damn.
Right? Yeah. And the coldest desert in the world is Antarctica.
Go ahead.
All right, just so y'all know. The coldest desert in the world is Antarctica. Antarctica get less precipitation than Death Valley, Arizona. Think about that shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so let's go on to the next one. We just going over.
This is weird.
All right, see, we see a date on this one.
The date. Don't got a date.
Nope.
Definitely an old ass newspaper though.
Yeah. 250 Mississippi flood refugees. See that word in the middle, marooned, right?
Yeah. Okay. I know. I heard of this word.
We gonna do a sidebar on that word after we read this. 250 Mississippi flood refugees marooned on the ridge without shelter. That means they were stranded on a ridge, which is normally at the edge or the side of a mountain. It's like a cliff for drop off, right? And the flood is the cause of them being placed in that condition.
These niggas crafty, bro.
Look what it say: trapped 2 miles from any possible aid.
Hey, conveniently.
Now look, big parade marches on despite threat of rain.
Oh yeah, doing.
Yeah, you can't stop Mardi Gras. I don't give a fuck. You can't stop Mardi Gras. We a Mardi Gras that motherfucker waist deep water.
Yeah, that's our shit.
All right, let's look at another one. We're just going over. We're just gonna breeze through these. Then we're gonna do a little discussion on the floods. Okay, so now here, corpses in trees and rats on a raft. The Great Dayton Flood of 1913. That's another Ohio flood.
Yep. Ohio was big because that's what the Rockefellers they made.
That's the Buckeye State, and the Buckeye is the bullseye, and the bullseye direct hit.
Yep. Right. And that's alchemy right there for the that's high level shit.
It's a flood warning should have been sent down the coast, but somebody didn't send it, right?
Yeah. Straight up. Real
Can you see
shit.
the date at the top?
Date is it looks like 19. Man, I can't tell you, but just look like some 1953. That's what it looked like. June
it might
26, 19 something. 53. Like I see the June 20 something. It was so
look, somebody had a case open on this flood because look, jury thinks worse could have been avoided.
Right, because they didn't send down the goddamn thing. Go ahead. Now
we will go into the body of this article because that's some interesting shit. But right now we're just showing the floods.
Okay.
Great flood disaster. See if we can get that date.
It looked like
right.
November. I can't. It's like November the 3rd, and that the last. I can't even tell you what the last part, but I can tell it's like November the 3rd, and then I can't see that the date, the last part. But it like I say, like 19 something.
Okay, now look at this giant wall of water.
Yeah.
Smashes over East Coast, brings death and injury to thousands. At 1 a.m., 350 dead, many missing.
Weather weapon.
Families trapped for a second night as tides hit town. Right? You see what's a cripples die in bed.
Damn, that's messed up, bro.
These are old codes too.
Yeah, cripples. Yeah. Crips.
The little children on the altar, you see that in the middle?
Yeah. Oh shit! What the man? What the hell going on here, Rod? They shooting. They fucking with us here.
This is one of them newspapers that was used by the lodges to flip codes. Because I'm seeing shit that's talking about.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm seeing some other shit that's wind talking language, but it's just not applicable now. So I ain't even translated it, but I'm seeing it.
I see it too, bro. The little kid on the altar, the cripples died in the bed. At 1 a.m. Oh yeah. So you know that 1 a.m. is when man, it's Masonic. This 1 a.m. because I remember reading some on the 1 a.m. and at 3.
Look, you see where it say at 1, right?
Yeah.
Million Man March, 8-tone speech. And when you hear the 8-tone, we will be at 1.
Yeah, I see it. Go ahead. That's fire.
Go to the next man. Go to the next one.
That's fire.
Yeah, you about to
it's definitely fucking cold in this shit, man. I wish we could have
still a lot of colds. New U.S. Marines attack, 9 die in a flood. Look, widow and 8 children drowned.
Damn.
More codes. The Monroe News.
That's
Star.
You know the niggas that's running this shit is them same niggas, man. It's mental games. California, we don't never really flood to Cali.
This is called Flood Mazurka. It's in California. Blow it up and go to the bottom and get the date.
All right. This motherfucker had to be old.
This one was in Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento. I can't see the date on it, but this definitely damn show in the 30s or something like that.
There's a lot of floods, man. Look at the people in the street in the boats. Remember the other picture?
Yeah. This was happening a lot. This was happening a lot back then. And so
no, it wasn't. No. It's spaced out in increments.
Yeah.
It's spaced out all over the country.
Strategic. It's more strategic.
There you go. These events are not common to any of the areas that's being reported, or else you would have had many floods since then. That means there's an outside force or factor that is deviating the environment from its normal precipitation or water intake.
That endless shit. Go ahead.
But we ain't got to the science part yet. We're just showing different cities across the land, right? Mm-hmm. That's been flooded. Go on the next picture. What's this one we got here? No, this is a Sacramento secret. The Alfano group. Look at this flood. Go to the picture. Look at the flood.
Yep.
Now you see how they block the water out?
Yep.
You use levees, right?
Yep. We got plenty of levees down here in Louisiana.
Yeah, this is a levee right there, but it's water on both sides of the levee.
Yeah. They blew it. Son. Hey, no, this happened to Katrina, man. We had like down in Louisiana, we got levees.
Yep. We ain't got to Katrina yet. We're just looking at the old reports.
Uh-huh.
We just going over old reports because we're gonna go over military strategy at the end.
All right. Yeah, this definitely is some shit that's gonna go down with this.
That's first picture. That's the same flood.
Okay, all right. So it pays to have a boat, seeing like
yeah. This one right here is a different city in the Midwest. I forgot what city it was.
Yeah, it looked just off looking at it. I'm telling man, it could be. It looked like it's a more upscale place, like San Francisco, somewhere like that. It could be like
that's not West Coast.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about St. Louis. That's what I'm thinking about.
Could be St. Louis.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. See what we got. We're just gonna scan through them all. Let the people look at them. Then we're gonna talk about the water.
They got hit hard here.
See if that one got a title at the bottom of it, Elder.
It don't got no title. That's it right there.
I think that's a Chicago flood, either Chicago or New York.
That's what it looked like. It looks like more Chicago because it got like open space. Like Chicago, it's got a lot of downtown, but it's got like an open space. Like this with a river. They got a river that run through Chicago.
Yeah, that little river that run downtown though. That's not that. This the streets. This water.
Yeah, right.
It's water in the streets right here.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
All right, they get this out of here, bro. All right, flood in New York. That rarely happens. Ever.
Now, here's the irony about New York. New York is surrounded by water and marshways, but the people that build the Shinnecock canals that's organic over there, they never build in the flood zone. They've been there thousands of years. You can tell these are new construction homes.
Yeah, more.
When I say new construction, I mean post settlers.
Yeah.
Right. These not the ones that was here before the settlers came. Them that's early 1900s construction right there.
Yeah, sure is. And it's Dutch. It look Dutch looking. The building style look Dutch. How they got the building stack right here, the stagger building. This right here look like a Dutch buildings. The way they style, they got they born. The style, the style of the house. It looked like a Dutch agriculture.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay.
We ain't gonna linger on them too long. We just try to show the different cities in the flood. South Buffalo flood, 1900. That's Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, Buffalo, New York.
Right. See that people got the horse and carriage walking through the water.
So
that's probably about 3 feet of water.
Man, right here. Buffalo get flooded. That's what I mean making. That's upstate New York, ain't it?
Yep. You hardly ever hear about floods in Buffalo.
Nah, ever. You hear about snowstorms and shit like.
These are the things that you think about when you hear us call the city out. Think to yourself, when was the last time I ever heard that city flooded?
Yeah, right.
Because if it's not normal for it to flood, and it didn't normally flood before, and it don't normally flood after, there's an abnormality in the middle.
Man, you got the ass, Rod. You got them. Go ahead.
Next.
All right, this right here is revisit the 1915 Erie flood.
Erie flood. That's Lake Erie. Lake Erie flooded. I don't know if it was in Michigan, upstate, but after the flood, this was the damage that was done. Now notice the water didn't stay. Everywhere else, the water just sitting there. Here you don't. This after the flood, this is the damage, but you see that little puddle they can step in. Right. That lets you know that wherever the water came from, it was temporary. That means that it was right. So you build a beaver dam. You build a beaver dam, and then you route the water where you want it. Then you blow the beaver dam. The beaver dam is already not natural, so when you blow it, it's going to allow the water to release easily.
Yeah. Damn. Military shit.
Next one. Now remember, everything they did, they weaponized it against us, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Houston bad. Houston.
This one in Houston, Texas.
1935. Every time Houston get hit, all of a sudden, it's all the black communities.
Let's go to the next one.
All right. Houston flood. Again.
1935. What year was the other one?
1935 as well.
So it's probably the same flood. We're going to church means circle. For those who don't know, every time you go to church, you've been going to something called the circle. Right? What the fuck is the circle? What is it for? Right? So in conjure, all conjure must be done within the confines of the circle. The circle is where you learn how to, or you use the circle by learning the banishing ritual of the pentagram, banishing rituals at a hexagram. You learn it through middle pillar training, etc. Right? So in this game of life, we're going to call it the game. The game is called life. You have real money and fake money. You have real people and fake people. You got
day-to-day struggles and you got easy days, right? It's all consistent with the laws of nature. Once you understand the laws of nature, the game of life is not as complicated as we've been led to believe to make us to remain in a perpetual state of misery, right? So, in this game called life, it's a chess game. And the chess game is played against an opponent. You got a good guy, the God seat, and the bad guy is the devil seat. And then you have life playing out in a real life chessboard in day-to-day individuals' lives. And it's an energy game when played outside of the 3-dimension. There's certain stuff that you are allowed to, when you play in a game, you got to play it a certain way. The reason why we kept losing in the game is, for one, we didn't have anybody playing, so all of our pieces was on the board idle. A few pieces was moving, but the majority of the board was idle. Worship. Idle worship means to worship like your car sitting there running. The active worship is the ones playing in the game, right? Now, you got people that's selling you snake oils like karmic debt cleanses or nationality cards or offering birth certificates and social security cards. These are what you call the great adversaries. Why are they the adversaries? They're the devil. The devil mean the enemy. Adversary mean opponent. The goal of the game was who can figure out who is legitimate, the ones with the papers or the ones without the papers. And so when they wrote it down in books, they told us who was legitimate and who wasn't, but it was coded. That means that there's a word in here, it's a line over here, it's a paragraph over here, it's the title of a chapter over here. And you have to be perceptive enough to see all of the clues that's being given in the game of life. When you are perceptive enough, you are no longer collecting clues. Now you cash them in. They call that cashing a receipt. Your clues is your breadcrumbs that lead you down the path. Every religion and every form of education that is required for the filling out of papers is making your allegiance to the one that we call the devil. Now you got to remember, devil don't mean no spooky shit. It just means the enemy, the adversary, the opponent, the one who's playing from the other side of the table. It's a gentleman's game, but you got to be a mastermind to play. In order to be a mastermind, you need a lot of seclusion because it's a board game. So you got to be bored to play it. And in the boredom, they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop. Well, the only reason that would be is because that's the only place to confront your own personal devil, right? She said she did her sacrament before match. That don't got nothing to do with nothing. Look, this game that we've been tricked into, we've been playing this game under duress and by deception. As soon as we figured it out, it was easy to overcome then, because then we knew that the controlling position on the board is called the position of right. And from the position of right, the most powerful weapon is some stuff called the truth. Now, motherfuckers don't want to hear the truth. Motherfuckers always say they don't want to be lied to, but as soon as you tell them the truth, they have a bigger breakdown than the motherfucker that lied to them. They don't give him the same reaction they give you for telling them the truth, right? So we don't know what the hell these people got us believing, because this shit's some bullshit, right? Give me a minute, Gregory. I want to go over some of this information and then I'll pull you in. All right. So the only way to win the game is you got to bump straight all the way across the galactic board or across the chessboard, right? But bumping straight don't always mean move straight, because all pieces don't move in a straight line. Pawns only move forward, but in fifth dimensional chess, they move forward on the ground, but they also move forward across the sky, right? So every move down here is a move up here. Also, the knights move in the L position, but the knight don't stay in the L, right? Because every 3 moves is a lightning strike. And then at the end of each lightning strike, it tears something up. All right, so now you got bishops that move at a diagonal angle, right? Then you have your rooks. They move side to side, front and back, as in your L rookins, as in Angel Bay. So then you have what you call your royal court, consists of a king, a prince, and a decoy. A king, a prince, and then a decoy, right? So somewhere in there is the king and the prince and the decoy. Now, the prince sometimes come in pairs, where you will have a red prince and a blue prince. But remember, they all got on the same red and blue on both sides of the board, except on one side of the board, the chess pieces are white, and on the other side, the chess pieces are black. Then you put red and blue coats on the white side, and red and blue coats on the black side. And then those who are the antagonists, the attacker, the white side, they attack. Now, their artificial superior position is termed white supremacy, because the attacker seems to have the advantage by the sheer fact that they initiated the attack. Now, you have to learn the rules of the game by learning the stratagems of war from as many different types of military-minded generals you can study. Now you get the game from a military perspective. Then you start to study the economics, because you also have to understand that the monopoly money they're using is so that they can steal the real money they hide. But as long as you believe that the monopoly money is real, you're not paying attention to the money that they stealing, that they hide. Right? Now, their fiat currency, which is monopoly money, it's not backed up by gold standard, right? It's backed up by something called GDP, gross domestic product, or GNP, gross national product. But this is really not backing the dollar, right? This is creating a foundational trade between GDP and GNP, gross domestic product and gross national product. When you